Buongiorno, motherfuckers. What's happening, everybody? It is Z. It's time for EC Radio. You can catch us live on all Disruption Network social media platforms, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all those social media platforms that you guys are all addicted to, and so am I. Before we get into anything, much love to my sponsors, EJA Moving Services, the professional movers. When it's time to move and relocate, hit up Eddie and his crew at 315-335-0516. They'll pretty much move you wherever you need to go. They also give you free boxes. A lot of those other moving services do not give you free boxes, but my good friend Eddie Alsheimer and his fine staff at EJA Moving Services, they give you free boxes. Not only do they give you free boxes, they pack them up for you, they move them, they unpack them for you. They'll even put your knickknacks on the shelf for you. That's what they do. They're awesome. EJAmoving.com is where you can find them online. Also, a shout out to my attorney, Dave Longaretta, who's been keeping me out of trouble for a long time. Give him a call today at 315-735-6162. Shout out to my folks over at Utica Coffee in Saranac, and also new sponsor of the D, Joey's over at 307. You want a fantastic meal, people? You go see my good friend Matt Grabsky over at Joey's. It's 307 Mohawk Street. They've got seafood dishes, a revolving dinner menu, awesome lunch specials. Tell them Uncle Z sent you, and that won't get you anything, actually. It won't get you nothing. But go to Joey's and check them out because they have amazing food, and it's a legendary joint, too. And shout out to Matt Grabsky for keeping the tradition alive over at Joey's 307. Awesome, awesome food. My guest today is a former Utican, and I'm sure he's missing the Utica food right now. Author of the amazing book that I'm halfway through right now. It's called The Shepherd's Burden. An old friend of mine, we used to work together at American Greetings with, what's that lady's name? Gertrude, or what was the lady's name from American Greetings? I can't even remember. Anyways, Ryan Young on the V-Mix line with me, bro. Great to see you, man. How's things?
Good, man. Good. You know, just living life. Just turned 40 not too long ago.
Wow, you're growing up right before my eyes, dude.
I know, dude. Like I said, we were talking earlier, I couldn't even drink when you knew me.
Yeah.
Now, yeah.
I find it funny that I used to buy your beer for you, and I don't even remember that. But I don't remember a lot from those days as I revert to those days as my blackout years.
Exactly. Like I said, I was right behind you, man. Right behind you. So yeah. I don't remember too much either. I remember what I did last, Tuesday. So
seriously, let alone what we did back in, what was that, like 98, 99, somewhere around that time frame.
Yeah.
It could have been right around that time. Back in the 90s.
The golden days.
Don't you feel like an old man now that you could be like, back in my day?
Yeah, I think that's like when you first start like referring to a decade as like, you know, the best time, you know, like when you were alive, then you know you're kind of old.
Yeah, so, no doubt.
And I've been doing it pretty lately, yeah. I've been playing like the 90s playlist on Amazon for my daughter when I take her to school. Just trying to remember, you know, when you could go outside and, you know, talk to people and stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. What's on that 90s playlist?
Oh God, it's all like the pop stuff. Like I was like Eagle Eye Cherry, Matchbox 20, Wallflowers. But you know what? It takes you back, so it doesn't really matter as long as it's, you know, just takes you back to the good times.
Yeah, man, indeed, great times. Kids don't know what it's like not to live without cell phones. And
oh no, my daughter doesn't even. Yeah, she doesn't even understand like she's never been in a world where nothing's been like not on demand for her, you know?
Right, the instant gratification.
No trips to Blockbuster, everything's just right there. She doesn't even have to use the remote anymore. She just talks into it. It's crazy.
So how long have you been away from Utica?
Oh man, so probably probably permanently away since I graduated college, because after that I went into the Army for about 4.5 years. So I did come back for like a stint in between where I'm at now for like, I went back to Utica College for about a year. I think that was like in 2009 to 2010. Mm-hmm. But my mom still lives in the area. My brother and his family live in the area, so I get there at least a few times a year.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
All right, on, man. So when did you start writing this book, man? Shepherd's Burden. By the way, I got halfway through it, and I love it. I should let people know that, like, some of the characters are actually from Central New York. Well, this is a fiction story, right?
Oh, yeah. Everything's completely made up.
Is there anything that is loosely based on a particular character?
No, not really the characters. I tried to the only thing I tried to use is like real places, you know, like around Utica and some other places. Like there's some stuff that takes place in Iraq. So I tried to use like real cities, and real like businesses, stuff like that to give it the feel. But as far as the characters in themselves, that's all just kind of made up, you know.
How about some of these experiences in there?
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess it's just kind of based on like, yeah, it's all kind of made up. You know
Is
what I
it?
mean?
Okay.
Like,
Gotcha.
yeah.
What goes on in
So,
their head to make up these stories, brother? I like it. You got quite an imaginative mind. The other thing I love about it is your character development and each of the characters. You paint a
oh,
good
thank you. Yeah.
picture and how you go into a backstory on each of the characters and like where they're from, kind of their roots, how they got involved, schools, all that. I like that. I like a good character development because it really sets the tone for the rest of the book. And like I said, I'm halfway through it, and I don't want to ruin the book for anybody, but we got to a turning point where one of the character actually passes away, and
Okay.
when when they blow up the tank or they blow up the truck.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, actually, the characters is where it all kind of started. So before I did anything else, that's the first thing I did. I started building like, essentially the main character was the first one, and then it just kind of grew from there. I just made like his friends and family and stuff like that, and then kind of made up the world and did all that kind of stuff along the way. But yeah, that's kind of important because that's whenever I watch anything, whether it's a book or whether I read a book or watch something on TV, the big thing for me is always being able to connect with the character. So I think that's one of the most important elements to any kind of like creative story.
So Daniel Jeffries was the first character that you developed.
It was, yeah.
And how cool is that you started his roots right here in your roots as well? I like that you've built him here in Utica, and then he goes to visit his mom in the Masonic home, and there's just like, where they go? Did they go to Columbus School? Right?
Columbus, yeah.
You
My mom
mentioned
used to.
Columbus School and all these
Oh
landmarks here
yeah.
in Utica. You mentioned the Stanley Theater and all that. I mean, it's really cool. People from Utica should really take to this book because it's got a great little cool vibe to it, a Utica vibe to it, I should say.
Yeah. So yeah, like you mentioned, like the Masonic home. Like my grandmother was there for many years before she like passed away, a couple years ago. And like Columbus School, my mom was a teacher in the Utica City School District for years, so she taught there and everything like that. So I thought it'd be cool. And even though the comic shop is fictitious, I kind of when I was picturing in my mind, I was kind of picturing Ravenswood when it used to be on Genesee Street up the street from the Stanley. That was kind of where that kind of start came from.
Nice, man. Yeah, I absolutely love it, man. So great. So now you were also working on another one. So what's this paranormal thing that you're also talking about? I was kind of going through it. There was an awards ceremony. Talk a little bit about that. It's coming up in April 25th, I think it is. I kind of glanced through it really quick, so I apologize that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
No, it's okay. Actually, so yeah, so over the summertime, I was just looking at contests to enter, and that was one of them that I entered my book because it was one of the ones that would like actually they would read your entire like book, and some just want like the first 10,000 pages or whatever. So, so far I've made the short list for the Paranormal Book Awards division. There's 22 different categories that they do the awards for. So,
That's
I guess the
awesome.
next step is, yeah, the semifinals and all that. To be honest though, like I didn't even know I was like I made the short list until I was like scrolling through Twitter the other day because I didn't get like an email or anything. I remembered that I like entered it and I looked. I was like, oh, my name's on the list. That's cool. So
Pleasant surprise.
yeah, why not? Cool, man.
So that comes. You'll find out like on April 25th. Is that a voting process or is that like a committee? How they make that selection?
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure about all the behind the scenes stuff. I know that according to like what they put out on like the website, they're gonna whittle down the list a couple more times. Like so, the next round is the semifinals, then there'll be the finals, and then so all the finalists will be announced during that like 2 or 3 day conference,
Mhm.
and then they'll also announce the winner, the first place winner, and the grand prize winner. So I'll just have to keep on my Twitter and Facebook to see for the updates, I guess.
Awesome, man. Well, I wish you a lot of luck. How many books do you have under your belt right now?
This is the first one,
This is the first.
and yeah, so and it's actually going to be like a trilogy. So I'm working on the second one right now. I'm about got like 7 chapters left to write, and then I got to do the editing and formatting and do with all that stuff to get it up on like Amazon. So, and I'm hoping to have that out by June. And then the third one, maybe by the probably early next year, maybe next spring,
Yeah.
to finish off the story, like the
Uh,
whole like storyline.
Is Shepherd's Burden available in audio form?
It's not like an audio book, but I it does have where the audio book has like usually like a narrator, but someone did tell me that it has the function on Amazon where it'll actually just read it, like almost like a what's it called, like like the computer, like Siri or something will read it to you,
Gotcha.
or Alexa or whatever. So
Yeah. I love the artwork too, man. Who did it?
so that actually those are just like stock photos, and then part of like putting it out myself is I had to figure out how to do the cover and the editing and all that, and I found this great platform called 5R.
Uh-huh.
It's five with two R's, and it's essentially a platform where
Yep.
people buy and sell
Yep.
freelance services. So I found a woman on there to do the cover. I had another girl in England who did the editing, and then another guy that did the formatting for the ebook and the paperback. So
It's a great platform. They're the ones that actually created our Disruption logo.
oh really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. You could get whatever you want on there, whether it's graphic
Exactly, yeah.
arts or if you need some voiceover work or anything, really. They'll do whatever. It's a lot of cool, creative people out there freelancing. So Fiverr with two R's.
Yeah, and they they show you how many like jobs each person's done, and they have a rating and all that kind of stuff, so you can really find what you're looking for. So I'd say yeah, it's been a huge resource because I don't without something like that, I don't think I would have been able to actually like self-publish myself. You know what I mean? So
It's a lot of work putting a book together, man. Talk about the process of putting it together. First, you have to have the idea, right? And at first, making that idea, is it far-fetched or are you just going for it?
no, so it actually for me, I mean, I guess everybody has their own process. For me, it really started with just a really small idea about something I wanted to write about, and that was the main character, and the only thing I knew that I wanted to write about him, or that I wanted him to have, like, was that he was going to be a veteran coming home from Iraq, and that he was going to work in a comic book shop and live on the like apartment above it. And that idea actually came from. Do you remember the movie? It was the early '90s, True Romance,
Oh, of
with like
course.
Christian Slater.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that
yeah.
movie.
So I think in the beginning, that's where that kind of like idea was always in my head, where he was like living in this comic book shop when he met like Patricia Arquette and living there, and that was just kind of like my weird like fantasy when I was getting ready to get out of the army. Like I just wanted to like chill out for a bit, and that's what I wanted to do. But the opportunity never presented itself, so I just started with like that's where I started this process.
It's a long process, though.
Yeah. So, but then, like I said, I started with the main character,
Uh-huh.
built the main, built the, essentially wrote like a 4 or 5 page biography on the main character, and then did the same thing for all the other characters. And then I just kind of thought, what do I want to do with them? And then, I don't know, I was watching like, the show Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
They have a couple other shows on now too. I was just watching that at the time, and I didn't want to do a ghost story or a horror story, but something I want to do some kind of paranormal twist. So that's where that kind of element came in, and then I just kind of started putting it together. Started with an outline and then the chapters, and it was done.
So from start to finish, how long did it take you?
So that one, I want to say about 2 years start to finish, and I
Yeah.
went really kind of slow and gradual. The one I'm working on now, because I didn't really have to like reinvent the process again. By the time I finish it, it'll be just short of maybe a year from start to finish. So.
So you think you shaved off a year from learning from the first book?
Yeah, because again, like I literally had no idea what I was doing.
Hmm.
I just went really slow. And the other thing too with the second book, it's I don't have to write all new characters, so I still have characters obviously from the first book. I
Gotcha.
have some new characters I introduced, but it's not like you're not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If you're ever looking for a crazy uncle in one of your characters.
Oh yeah, man. Maybe we've all this talk about the '90s. Maybe we'll do I'll do some kind of novel set in the '90s, just to
There you go.
nobody can get a hold of each other because there's no cell phones. You got to have the pager.
Right, there you go. One big flashback. So do you have episode 2 written already, or is it finished, or how far along are you on that?
Yeah. So the way I do it too is like I have everything before I write any chapters. I do it like a very detailed outline. So book two is already everything's already set. Like I know exactly what's going to happen. So it's just a matter of writing the last few individual chapters. And for the last book, I know where everything's going to end up, but I haven't quite done the actual storyline of the third book yet. I know the beginning and the end and a couple of major things that are going to take place.
Right on. Do you have a title for the book?
So the next one's called The Shepherd's Duty, and the last one will be called The Shepherd's Sacrifice, and it'll kind of play into what's happening as this character kind of progresses through what's going to happen to him over the next, couple books.
Ultimately, you would like to see this be in a movie form, wouldn't you? I mean, I when I was reading it, I could see it, the scenes as I was reading it.
Yeah, I'd love to have everything,
Yeah.
like movies, like whatever anybody wants to do. Absolutely, yeah.
No, it's a great
But like right
story.
now, this is actually a pretty big deal because it's the first time I'm really kind of talking about it, getting the word out about it too, because that's kind of the biggest challenge too when you're on like you're self-published, just kind of market advertising, getting people getting people to like take a look at it. So
Yeah, you got to sell yourself.
yeah. So yeah, I'm down for whatever, man. Anybody calls, just let me know.
Have you done like book signings or any of that? Any kind of appearances?
No, because well, COVID obviously like knocks that
Right,
out.
right.
But so the other
I'm
thing,
trying to
like with
forget about COVID.
so the other thing with with Amazon, and the reason I use their platform over a couple of the other ones, so they have the ebook, but the print book is actually printed on demand. So
Uh-huh.
I don't have like a box of copies anywhere where I can like set up a stand and have people like sign the book. So that's one of the drawbacks. But the nice thing is I don't have to pay for any of the overhead. So they just print
Right.
it up, take their cut for their percentage plus what it costs to copy it or to print it, and then I get the remaining residuals.
You could be like that old wrestler Virgil. You remember Virgil? He's with the $1 Million Man.
$1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, dude.
Do
Yeah,
you remember
I know.
Virgil? So
Yes.
Virgil would set up in the airports with like 8x10s of himself with glossies, and he would just like hand them out to people trying to get like a couple bucks, trying to make some
Yeah.
money. He'd stand at airports and malls and shit and be like, "Hey, isn't that Virgil?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, you want an 8x10? Here," and he'd sign it for you and he'd give it to you, and he'd be like, "Can I get $5?"
Hey man, I'm not gonna rule that out. I'm not gonna rule that out. If
Yeah.
it comes to that, I'll do it, and we'll just see where this takes us.
And the whole time he was signing his 8x10s, all you heard in the background was money, 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 money. There's a great documentary on Ted DiBiase if you ever see that. It's called The Power
Is
of
it on?
Fame. Yeah, it's on
Yeah,
Amazon.
I watched like half of it. Isn't he like he's like really religious or
Yeah,
something too? Like that was the thing. Yeah. Turns out he was a really good dad, which is like not a lot of those wrestlers aren't. So that was pretty cool. And then
right.
his son was a wrestler too. Good
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
the million.
Insane, man.
Yeah.
Insane. I think I do. I remember when Owen Hart died. Weren't you in the van when Owen Hart died? I know that's such a random question to ask you right now, but I remember
It,
being in the van and American Greetings coming home when hearing that Owen Hart had passed away and he fell from the rafters at the Kemper Arena in Kansas City.
yeah, that does. I mean, that does sound about the time that we were kind of like working there,
Uh-huh.
and that was actually our buddy Sam that we worked. I think I remember watching it at his house when he fell,
Uh-huh.
and there was like there's a time delay, so they took off the him actually falling, and then they carted him out, and then like the announcement was later. So yeah, we must have been talking about it like the next day or something.
I think that's maybe what it was.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that
just
was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Have you watched any of those what is it? Behind the Ring? Behind the Mat, what's it called? Dark Side of the Ring.
I don't. It might have been the dark. I watched the one about the what is it called the Quebec screw job or something where Hitman Vince McMahon like actually screwed him out of the belt when he was going to WCW
Hmm.
and he didn't know he was going to lose and Shawn Michaels like they had him like pin him and everything like that and then he punched McMahon like in the dressing room.
Yeah, the Dark Side of the Ring. It's a great
Yeah.
documentary. They got a whole bunch of great series out there, but there's one about Owen Hart that I recently watched. It's pretty intense, actually. Poor guy.
Yeah, man.
Poor
Yeah,
guy.
that was. I remember, yeah, too. Like everybody was like, and they had to keep going with that event too. Like I remember,
Yeah,
like when he died,
they
because
should have
like
stopped it.
he didn't die right at the event. Like he fell from the rafters. They got him out of there, took him to the hospital, and they finished the event. I think it was like Stone Cold and the Undertaker might have been the uh, main event that day. And then yeah, and they announced like before it was over that he had died.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And on this Dark Side of the Ring, his wife is on there talking about how they should have never have went on with that show. There should have been an investigation, and she's right. You know, they just kept
Yeah,
going with the
yeah,
show, on with the show. But in a case like that, you kind of have to shut it down when there's a death of one of your performers.
yeah. But that's Vince, man. He's just
That's
gonna keep
Vince, man. Right? He don't give a
he's gonna
shit.
keep the show going, man.
He don't give a shit. Hey, man, I see that UFO thing on your wall there. I want to believe. You
Yeah,
ever
that's
think
the X
about?
Files.
You ever think? Oh, it's the X Files. You ever think about writing some sort of maybe alien-based book down the road?
Sci-fi, yeah, that's another one of the genres that I'm a big fan of. So that might be when I finish this one. Um, I do have another like kind of idea that's been kicking around my head. It's not all developed yet, but I would like to kind of do maybe some kind of like a sci-fi thing. But my idea too would be like more like it wouldn't be like like out in space and like it's all sci-fi. It'd be more like connected to kind of like reality a little bit more. I think that might like draws in the reader a little bit sometimes, especially for people who aren't fans of the genre.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see, man, down the road.
Right
I
on,
could
man.
sell those. I could sell them with Virgil in the airport.
Hey, what happened to your comedy career? I know you were gonna dip your toes in the comedy world for a little bit, man. What happened to that?
Man,
Did you
life,
did you take
dude.
a stab out of it? Did you take a
I
stab at
did,
it?
yeah. So
Yeah.
like, I initially did it down in Florida for a couple years when my wife was finishing up school,
Hmm.
and then we kind of moved back up here. Lived out in Boston for a little bit, and I was literally just starting to feel my way around and getting ready to maybe go out and start doing it again. And then we had a little surprise about 8 years ago. Her name's Emily.
Aw.
So yeah, so that kind of like I didn't have a lot of time to like really kind of go out and do it because you really, especially in the beginning, you really got to be out like
Yeah.
5, 6 nights a week. So yeah, I just kind of put it on hold, and then that's kind of where this kind of came from because I just had still those like creative impulses, but I had to do something where I could just basically do it from my house. So that's, I guess, in a weird way, it kind of maybe led me here. So that's worked out.
Yeah. And being on a lockdown kind of helps too, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing else to do.
Sit around.
We're all just going crazy, man. You know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
just like at home all day, living in your own head. It's good stuff. You don't even need drugs.
Well, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah, tell me about it, man. If it wasn't for this studio, I would have gone ape shit by now throughout lockdown and COVID and pandemic and the Corona coaster and all the other names we got for it. I would have
Crazy
freaked.
stuff.
I would have freaked out. But thank God, thank God for this podcast. Or who
Just
knows, man?
keeping it, man.
Yeah, keeping my sanity.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to see stick around after COVID's done?
Mm. Anything stick around?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I kind of like. I mean, it's kind of weird. I like the masks because it keeps people from like
Sneezing on each
staring
other.
at. Yeah, that. But it's like no, you don't really like. It keeps you from making like eye contact with like people in grocery stores, and it's like you get right in, get right out. So if we do that, I mean, they do that over in like China because there's like 1 billion people and they need to, it's much more confined. So I'm down if we do that.
Isn't that
Plus,
funny
plus
how you?
masks are cool.
Isn't it funny how you wear a mask and you don't have to make eye contact, right?
Exactly. Yeah. We're just all these like,
Shuffling
you're
along.
just shuffling through life, just getting your Chef Boyardee and like, see you later.
I kind of like that too. You could go in the
Yeah.
grocery store, put your head down. You don't have to look at anybody. You don't have to talk to anybody. But you're also inside your head as well. Like, hey, do I know that?
Yeah.
Do I know that guy? Is that such and such? And then you don't want them catching you, so you kind of look the other way, and then all of a sudden they're looking at you thinking the same thing. Is that Ryan? Is that him?
Yeah.
Ryan, I don't know.
Exactly.
It's
You don't have to
such a
do
weird
this.
thing.
You don't have to do the stop and chats.
You don't.
And you don't have to feel guilty about not doing it.
Exactly.
Because even if somebody called you on that, like later on, like, hey, you didn't say hi to me in the grocery store. Like, dude, I didn't see you, man. You're in a mask. I couldn't even tell it was you.
I
Sorry,
didn't know
bro.
that was you.
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
I had to, I had to get out of there. You can't stay in there for more than 15 minutes or you get the coronavirus. So.
Yeah, the mask does give you a good excuse.
Yeah, that's what and when you get older, that's what you need. You need as many excuses as possible not to have to get together with people.
In a pandemic, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that helps.
Like,
too.
yeah, even when it's over, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm really not sure. I mean, just want to be safe. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll try that like next year. I don't know. But you give me a call. Yeah, we'll set something up.
Keep 6 feet away from me, please.
Exactly.
And then you don't have to hug people anymore. That's a thing too, unless you really want to. If somebody's hugging you nowadays, that means they're really affectionate towards you, right? They actually really appreciate you. They love you. There's some really cool sentiment in there. Like before, everybody was just hugging to hug, whatever. But now, since we're sitting in this pandemic, nobody's hugging each other. But so if you're hugging, that just goes an extra step of the way, saying I care about you.
Yeah, I didn't even really think about that. Like, so less human contact. I'm definitely in favor of that. Let's keep that going as well.
Yeah.
No, none of those like awkward. Hey, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
all right. I get it. It's nice to see you. Okay.
Hold the head back.
All right.
And you don't have to shake sweaty hands anymore.
No, you don't have to do any of that.
Yeah. That's great. Just fist bumps all day. I'm a fist bumper now. I never
Yeah,
was a
the
fist
fist
bumper,
bump,
but
yeah.
fist bump is everything now.
Absolutely, yep. You don't have those awkward, like, the guy that, like, crushes your hand for no apparent reason or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, man, all right, good.
You know what? I hated the limp hand. Like, you go to shake their hand and there's, like, no grip or no nothing. It's just a limp hand. I hate that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather shake a sweaty hand.
Maybe this was meant to be, this whole coronavirus.
See? It eliminated the handshake. Right. No more handshake because of this corona. I think it's a great thing. Yeah, fist bumps all day. High fives if it's quick. You can high five if you're excited and whatnot. And I'm always a fan of the good game on the ass too, of course. But
yeah, good game. I don't know if you can do that anymore.
Can't do that anymore. For 2 reasons now.
Yeah, exactly. There's just so. But yeah, that I didn't even really think about that, so I'm glad I came on today to really like. Now when I got to go out and run some errands a little later, I'm going to be a lot happier because I realize, wow, I don't have to talk to anybody, acknowledge anybody's existence. I just do my thing, go home, turn on Netflix, go to bed. That's how life should be lived.
It's crazy how that mask gives you blinders. Right? You put that mask on and it instantly gives you blinders and you just got tunnel vision and eye on the prize. I'm going to go and get my Nutella and my almond milk and my bananas and my steaks and I'm going to get the hell out of all these as quick as possible.
Exactly. I think we've helped the world.
You see?
Yeah.
You didn't think we'd go down this rabbit hole today, did you, Ryan?
Hey, I'll go wherever you want to go, man. Got nothing going on. Nothing.
Aliens, brother, aliens.
Yeah, actually, I watched the entire X-Files, every season during this pandemic, start to finish.
Wow.
Every episode, yeah. It only took me like a month.
There's been more sightings in upstate New York lately.
Has there been?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you never know, man. Now the Navy's admitting it and stuff like that, so it's real.
That's what cracked me up too. In the beginning of this whole pandemic, the Pentagon releases footage of UFOs, and nobody gave a shit. Nobody cared.
Yeah, because they're like, well, we're just here. If you want to take us, we really got nothing else going on. We could use a ride on the spaceship, Let's go.
Bring them down.
Let's mix it up.
Would you go? Would you go if they beamed you up? Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Like I said, at this point, I've pretty much seen everything Earth has to offer. There's nothing, I can't say that I'm gonna miss too much. So yeah, we'll take it. See what they got going on.
Take a loop around the galaxy.
Yeah, I'll see what they got to offer. Might as well. I did 40 years down here. We can, what's how much time do I really have left, anyways?
Right, exactly. I love it, brother. Man, people, go out and get The Shepherd's Burden. It's a great book. It is really cool, especially if you're from upstate New York. There's a lot of upstate New York ties in this book, and a couple characters. The other characters from what was it, Casanova or Chittenango? Was it Chittenango?
Yes, Chittenango. I actually lived there. I was born in Syracuse and lived in Chittenango for several years.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
the home of Wizard of Oz.
L. Frank Baum. Yep, that's his
That's
birthplace.
for a while there. They were doing like with Ozfest, and I don't know if they do that
Yeah,
anymore or not. But
I think I even referenced that in the book when I was a
yeah,
kid. Yeah, they used to have a parade. I think it was the summer, the springtime, and everybody used to dress up. My mom used to make us costumes and stuff like that. They even have like a yellow brick road in like the village somewhere down there. So
were you the Tin Man? I could see you being the Tin Man.
no, I can't
No,
remember. I honestly, I don't even think we were a character from the Wizard of Oz. I was like a dog or something. Like I think it was like Snoopy.
there you
But I
go.
didn't care. Like I was in kindergarten. What do I care? It's a night out.
So where can people pick up this book? Give some of the links and how they can get in touch with you throughout your social media tags and how they can purchase this book.
Sure. So the book is right now exclusively available on Amazon. And all the links to it are on my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. My handles are all at Ryan Young Author. And it can be purchased in what's it, ebook or paperback format. And
Awesome.
like I said, it's on demand. So like it takes about 3 or 4 days to get to you. So I think when I sent you that one, it only took a few days.
And thank you so
So
much for sending this, man. Thank you. I really
yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
it.
no
And
problem, man.
I'm definitely going to probably finish it up tonight and get to it. And I'll be sending you a text. Hey, dude. So, and hey, man, please use my platform. If you got other books coming out in the future, please, please, please use my platform. And it was just really cool to catch up with you. And was
Yeah,
I?
absolutely, man.
I wasn't an asshole to you back in the day, was I? I don't remember.
Dude, man, you were like a rock star, dude. Like I
Oh,
said,
I
you
don't
had
know.
like the long hair, you had the tats, you could buy beer.
I could buy
I mean, what
beer.
else? Yeah, you could buy
I
beer,
had all the
man.
weed.
Yeah, I wasn't into that. And that was like
No,
I was never into the weed, but like
that was
yeah,
the
the
other
fact that you
guy
love it.
actually.
Yeah, yeah, that was the other two. I was never into like as long as I get the alcohol, that's all I need, man. But yeah,
And
dude, you were yeah, you guys were like because what was your other buddy's name that was with us? Rob, I think his
yep,
name.
Rob.
Yeah, yeah. You guys were like, yeah, you guys were cool. The guys that could get into the bar without a fake ID. Fake ID.
We could
Awesome.
we should write a book about those times if we can remember any of them. But I know we had a lot of fun. Just that trip alone, like that whole American Greetings time frame for me was pretty
Pretty intense.
crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, we're partying all night, and then you had to be in that van by like 6 in the morning, 7 in the
I
morning.
know, dude. I know. But like I said, you could sleep on the way to the job and on
Yeah,
your way back to the job. So once you're ready to go right back out and just do your thing, man.
yeah,
Burn
that's
burn it
exactly
at
what.
both ends.
One big revolving door of nonsense. It was fun though, brother. Hey man, I
Yeah.
wish you a lot of success and congratulations on the release of this book and I hope you sell millions of these, man. And I want everybody out there that's watching this right now to go out there, go to Amazon and purchase The Shepherd's Burden by my friend Ryan Young, man. Congratulations, man. Keep it up. Keep shining, brother.
All right, dude. Thanks for having me, and I really appreciate it.
Great talking to you. Before we get out of here, I got to mention the Shutdown Showcase is going down. The Uptown Theater is doing a little benefit on March 26th. It features music, comedy, food from Taylor and the Cook. If you want more information, go to uptownutica.org. One of the very first theaters I ever visited was at the Uptown. One of the very first shows that I saw, one of the first movies. So go support the Uptown. I know Tim Hardiman, and Devin are going to be on the program on Thursday. They're coming in on Thursday to talk about this event that's going down. It's March 26th. So check it out. It's going to be good. Support your local music theater and whatnot, and support your arts. Shout out to EJA Moving Services, Attorney Dave Longaretta, also Utica Coffee, Saranac Brewery, and don't forget to support the Uptown Theater. I will see you tomorrow.